We're all about young love, but this is taking it too far. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 celebrities who married too young. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're taking a look at celebrities who married when they were still in their teens. We won't be including people like Courtney Stodden, who only became famous because they married young. Number 10. Drew Barrymore, age 19. She started acting young, so is it any surprise she married young too? Drew Barrymore first got engaged in 1991 at only 16 years old, to the grandson of a Hollywood producer. When that fell through, she waited a whole year before getting engaged again to actor and singer Jamie Walters. After that engagement was called off, Drew finally took the plunge and married bar owner Jeremy Thomas in 1994 at the age of 19. Unfortunately, the couple didn't click, and Barrymore filed for divorce after less than 2 months of marriage. Number 9. Melanie Griffith, age 18. Talk about an up and down relationship. Academy Award nominee Melanie Griffith started dating Don Johnson when she was just 14 years old. Johnson of Miami Vice fame first encountered Griffith while working on the film The Herod Experiment, on which Griffith was also working as an extra. 4 years later, the two actors eloped, with the marriage lasting a grand total of 6 months. However, after 13 years apart, the two reconnected and married for a second time in 1989. They would welcome their daughter Dakota Johnson, whom you'll recognize as Anna Steele from the film 50 Shades of Grey, just a few months later. The two separated for good in 1996. Number 8. Janet Jackson, age 18. One of the best-selling artists in music history, the youngest Jackson sibling didn't waste any time when it came to locking down a hubby. In 1984, Janet Jackson, just 18 at the time, married James DeBarge, an R&B singer and member of the group DeBarge, which, as you may have guessed, consisted of members of his family. To quickly recap, the daughter of one of music's most famous families married the son of one of music's other famous families. Yeah, that really happened. The marriage would ultimately be annulled, proving that the union was far from a match made in heaven. Number 7. Cher, age 18. Throughout her illustrious career, Cher has literally done it all. From gracing the top of the pop charts numerous times and winning an Academy Award, to selling more than 100 million records and marrying her first husband when she was just 18. Wait, what? That's right, Cher married 29-year-old singer Sonny Bono in an unofficial ceremony in Mexico in 1964. The two later formed the folk rock group Sonny and Cher, achieving mainstream success with their song I Got You Babe in 1965. The two married officially in '69. Welcoming a baby to their family that same year. Unfortunately, it didn't take long for their already tumultuous relationship to deteriorate, and in 1975, they divorced. Number 6. Elizabeth Taylor, age 18. If there was ever an actress more famous for her marriages than her acting, it would have to be Elizabeth Taylor. A 2-time Academy Award winner and one of the defining actresses of her generation, Taylor was married a whopping 8 times to 7 different men. For the sake of brevity, we'll only be focusing on her first marriage to hotel heir Conrad Hilton Jr. in 1950. At the time, Hilton Jr. was 6 years older than Taylor, who had only turned 18 3 months earlier. The wedding was ultimately a sham, with MGM footing the bill in the hopes that it would help promote Taylor's next film. Taylor would divorce Hilton just 9 months later. Number 5. Macaulay Culkin, age 18. One of the most famous, or infamous depending on who you ask, child stars in film history, Culkin rose to fame playing Kevin McAllister in the 1990 comedy Home Alone and its sequel, Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. For years, Culkin was America's golden child, which made it all the more shocking when he decided to marry fellow child actor Rachel Miner in 1998, when they were both just 18. As is often the case for actors who marry too young, Culkin and Miner separated in 2000 and were divorced by 2002. Number 4. Solange Knowles, age 17. Solange Knowles, who spent many years in her big sister Beyoncé's shadow, has since emerged as a talented singer in her own right. Her 2016 album, A Seat at the Table, made it all the way to the top of the Billboard 200 album charts. Knowles is also known for having married Daniel Smith in 2004 when she was only 17 years old. The high school sweethearts later welcomed their only child, Daniel Jules J. Smith Jr., that same year, Sadly, the marriage didn't last long, with the couple opting for a divorce in 2007. Number 3. Demi Moore, age 17. Did you know that actress Demi Moore was actually born Demi Jean Gines? Considering that didn't exactly roll off the tongue, and that she had recently married singer Freddie Moore, Demi decided to use his last name as her stage name. However, we're not here to talk about Demi Moore's name. We're here to discuss her teenage marriage to a man 12 years her senior. The two met when Demi was just 16 and married a year later in 1980. The two would later divorce in 1985, adding Demi Moore's name to the ever-growing list of teenage brides whose marriages didn't last. Number 2. Marilyn Monroe, age 16. Marilyn Monroe's famous marriages to baseball legend Joe DiMaggio and playwright Arthur Miller have been well documented. But did you know she was married to another man when she was just 16? Monroe married James Doherty in 1942, shortly after her 16th birthday. The marriage was one of necessity, as Monroe's foster family was moving to West Virginia and, by law, weren't allowed to take her with them. She was thus facing the prospect of being sent to an orphanage. To avoid that gloomy fate, Monroe married Doherty, who was 21. The two had very little in common, and in 1946 they divorced, with Monroe on the verge of becoming a star. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1. Aaliyah, age 15. Aaliyah's music career began when she was 10 years old, after a successful appearance on the reality TV show Star Search. She later signed with Jive Records, where she was introduced to R&B star R. Kelly. After the two collaborated on the suspiciously titled album Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, rumors began to circulate that Aaliyah and Kelly had secretly and illegally wed. The rumors turned out to be true, as the two musicians had married in Illinois on August 31st, 1994. Once Aaliyah's parents learned of the illegal marriage, they quickly had it annulled. Sadly, the story didn't end there, as Aaliyah would later perish in a plane crash at the age of 22.